People always ask me, what do you train? You train your legs, you train your biceps, you train your arms. But I always say the most important muscle that any of us has is the 6 inches between our ears.
Oh my goodness.
What's up, man?
I always say we're in the midst of a miracle, and it's a matter of mindset. Guys like you and Jesse especially have such a tremendous mindset to do what you do. I can usually outwork anyone. I call it activity I get paid for.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
The stuff that you do is incredible. What are some of the best tips that we can share? Because mindset is so important today to keep the strength, to keep the health and the happiness going, and knowing that we're going to get out of this, like you, stronger and better than we've ever been.
Obviously, I guess I'm most known for my physical athletic feats. I have 10 world records, whatnot. And people always ask me, what do you train? You train your legs, you train your biceps, you train your arms. But I always say the most important muscle that any of us has is the 6 inches between our ears. It's the mind. It's something that we all have the ability to train, to cultivate, to work towards. And, really, in these trying times, I'm not going to lie, look, I think we're all in our whatever, our lives are interrupted, disrupted, completely falling in on themselves. Is there fear? Is there anxiety? Is there that? I think, yes, absolutely. We're all feeling that in some way in our own lives. But we also have the ability inside our own mind to, choose our thoughts, choose what goes in and out of there, choose to either lean into that fear or to lean into the positivity, to the light. Like you said, the silver linings in this, the fact that the world at this moment is going through a tough time, but we're all kind of also coming together to fight a common enemy, a common goal. And so, I believe that the power really is within our minds to find the silver linings and to shift our mindsets towards the positive, because when we do, we all have reservoirs of untapped potential that we can achieve extraordinary things on the other side.
Yeah, another word, and it works in the physical realm. I've been blessed to work around some extraordinary athletes, world record holders, Super Bowl champions. But I love the word of the day, which is seek what you want. I find, people you're seeking the wrong things right now. The mind is so powerful. And if you seek the superpowers within you, if you seek the superpowers within other people, if you seek the positivity, if you seek the light, the lessons, and the love, that's what you're going to find, even in the most compressed times of uncertainty like we're in right now. And I think the most focused people that can achieve these extraordinary things, like running 465 miles, but you have to have intention. It's not just paying attention, it's the intention of seeking. And so, for you, how do you stay focused in that mindset of being able to, with all the distractions, all the chaotic things, and you have your own practice of fear, right? Everyone, they think that guys like you have no fear at all. You can just do it all, that you wake up happy 100% of the time. How do you actually stay focused and say, look, I don't need to watch the news all day. I got stuff I got to get done. What's the keys or the tricks for you to stay focused?
I think it's super important to think about. First of all, you talked about fear, and it's not about being fearless. If you had no fear, there might be something wrong with you, but it's actually taking the different fears and inputs and really kind of synthesizing, not amplifying them unnecessarily in your own mind. But for me, it's like I love to set big goals. I believe that we can all set big, massive, audacious goals in our life. But I think too often people will set some goal or come up with some massive dream, having a beer with their buddy and, we should start this company. It's going to be massive. It's this great idea, this, that, the other thing. But then they wake up the next day and they sit in the room and all of the fear and the doubt creeps in. Oh, maybe it's not that good of an idea. What if we fail? I don't actually have that much background in this. That's not going to work. And all of those little things chip away at you, and they never even begin the process. For me, I think mountains are a great metaphor. It's my world, but I think it applies to everything. I love to stand at the bottom and stare up at the summit. I have climbed Mount Everest, so I know what it's like to stand at the bottom and look at the top of the tallest mountain in the world. When you're standing there at the bottom, it looks impossible to get all the way to the top. You're like, that could never happen. That's like starting your business. All it is an idea on the whiteboard, and you're like, I want to have $100 million exit one day. Well, let me tell you, there's a million steps between then and towards the end. But that goal, that summit, you have to want that no matter what the market conditions are, no matter what is going on in your life. You have to wake up and want to do it. Did any of us expect to be trapped in our homes with coronavirus right now? I certainly didn't. I was actually supposed to be in the Himalayas climbing right now with my wife. That's not happening, clearly. My goals and my passions didn't just completely evaporate because of the market conditions of this moment. So whatever it is you're working on, that strength in the mindset, your question is about how do you keep motivated? It's what you committed to in that moment in any moment should be able to take you through the many seasons of life so you wake up with that passion for it. Do you need to adapt, evolve, pivot, shift in this moment? 100%. But if you would set the right goal in the first place, you are still determined to get through all of the fear, all the doubt, all the anxiety, all the ups and downs, and get to that proverbial summit.
You mentioned two really important things. One is the ability to have these humongous goals, but to connect the dots back. My life goal is to empower 1,000 people like you, right? I use this platform. I've been blessed in my life, business-wise, family-wise, health-wise. But if I can find 1,000 people like you, 1,000 people like Jesse, that can impact 1,000 people, to impact 1,000 people simply to be happy, healthy, and strong, those three things, which you have that capability, it's not an audacious goal because I've connected the dots to say, in my lifetime, I'm going to find 1,000 Collins that are going to do this for me. That's over 1 billion people, and that's a collective consciousness. I, the humble little middle-aged guy, have come up with a goal that could change the earth. And I think people don't connect the dots backwards. They're not realistic about their goals. They haven't planned it out. And the one thing, and I'm going to let you end on this one, but the one thing that all these great people that I get to talk to, and the great people like you and Jesse and others that do things to provide value for others, it's that you guys and you women out there, you must be what you can be, right? No matter what the circumstances are, there's something inside of you that says you must be what you can be. And when I talk to you and I, study you and all the things that I've been able to do, I'm like, here's a guy that must be what he can be. And that's going to show and shine right through with all these lessons of these times. And you and your wife will be at the top of the Himalayas before you know it. And you and Jesse will be very sore after you run 465 miles. And I will be very sore after my 465 yards. What do you think that secret sauce is, though, as we finish up? What is that desire to must be what you can be?
I think of it as an art piece. This might sound a little bit strange, but for me, I think of what I do. I used to think of it as sports. I want to win, I want to this. But actually what I realized, we are all creatives. We are all expressing. We're all painting on different canvases. That could be music. That could be traditional fine art. That could be sports. That could be entrepreneurship, business, love, etc., whatever that is. But it's finding what it is inside of you and expressing that fully on the canvas of your own life. Too often we are limited. I'm going to come back to the mindset, but too often we are limited by the limiting beliefs within ourselves and often within our communities. But I love what you're saying there about a collective consciousness of the human spirit. 1,000 people, I talk about it as the ripple effect. In my book that just came out a couple of months ago, The Impossible First, there's a chapter called The Ripple Effect. And it's based on this idea of like, I want to live my best life. I'm walking across Antarctica by myself, something no one in history has ever done. But I'm sharing that with the world to have a ripple effect of positivity to inspire other people to take on the impossible things or perceived impossible things in their life. And I might hear from a few people that I impacted or inspired, and I hear from people every day, and I love that. There's also thousands of people I never heard from, but their ripples impact their community. When we fully express ourselves, when we live our best lives and we share our stories with the world, and that could be with the world, that could be to the 5 people in your community, the 2 people at your dinner table with your family, that could be to, hundreds of thousands, millions of people on Instagram. It could be anything, but when we do that, we uplift and we inspire each other, and we are all stronger together, I believe, when we uplift that.
What you're talking about is everybody's a candle, and we have our light. If you only hold on to your own light, it's going to burn your candle all the way to the end. You are a candle. You're out there lighting other people's candle. Your candle never burns down. And that light needs to be shared. You are absolutely a light, man. I can't wait to get you. I know we're going to do our podcast as well for entrepreneurs.
Thanks for having me, and look forward to the podcast. And everyone keep doing big things. And if you want, join the Calendar Club. Link in my bio. David's running the yards. You could run kilometers. You can do it on your bike, whatever. But we want to have as many people involved. It's amazing community. So it's day 1 today. So sign up.
I'm going to put my shorts on right now.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good, man.
Take care, man.